back to my subscribers and welcome if this is the first time you're joining me. My name is Odessa. I'm the Mystic Intuitive Healer. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master, spiritual coach, and an intuitive tarot card reader. And through the work I'm doing here on YouTube, as well as Instagram, TikTok, and my own website, odessamall.com, I deliver messages to you guys that will help you to awaken, heal, align, and grow. And today is a very, very special reading. I am going to be doing a collaboration today with one of my absolute favorite readers of all time, Helen from Eye of the Serpent Tarot. If you guys haven't checked out her channel yet, you need to definitely check out the second half of this reading after you watch this. Helen is incredible. She's been reading cards for 30 years. She has so much knowledge about psychology, mysticism, magic, astrology, Kabbalah, plus she has a background in HR. And she uses all of that knowledge layered into her readings. And the amount of accuracy and depth that you can get out of a 20-minute reading with Helen is mind-blowing. So I am so thrilled that we're working together. This is my very first collaboration. So we've put together a really special theme for you guys. We are going to be looking at two things. My half of the reading is going to be looking at how your most significant past life is affecting you in this life. And Helen is going to be looking at how this life is going to be affecting your next life. So after you're done watching my half, definitely go and check out Helen's reading. The link is below, so you can easily go and check that out. I have 3 piles for you guys to select from. Pile number 1 is partnered with this knot tie medallion. The design to me looks like it could be Celtic, or it could be Nordic. Then pile number 2 is partnered with this coin that is from Hong Kong. And pile number 3 is partnered with a medallion that has a Roman emperor on it. So I will give you guys a second to select your pile, and I will see you in a moment. Hi, pile number 1, welcome back. So if you missed the intro, I wanted to let you know that this is a collaboration with the very talented Helen of Eye of the Serpent Tarot. It's going to be a 2-part reading, so I'm going to be looking into how your most significant past life is affecting you in this life, and Helen is going to be looking at how this life is affecting your next life. So you definitely want to check out her half of the reading as well once you're done here. The link is below. I also want to mention that I'm running a contest this month. You can win a free mini reading with me. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to the channel and comment on this video, and you'll be entered into the draw. The winner will be announced on the 1st of the month on my community tab. So these cards here are going to give me an idea of who you were in this most significant past life. What role you played, where you possibly were living, what your day-to-day was like, and then I will dive into more cards and find out exactly how it's still affecting you in this life. So you picked the medallion with the Celtic or Nordic design on it. So this past life of yours could potentially have been in the region of England, Ireland, Scotland, or in, you could have been part of a Nordic community, like a Viking community, just based on that alone. But let's see what these cards are. You've got the Magus, which is like the magician and the Rider-Waite. 2 of Swords, Awakened Awareness, Chameleon, and it says stay in the background and adapt to the situation rather than being conspicuous and attempting to direct the course of events. Interesting. Arnold Schwarzenegger. You also got new supportive connections. Iris, the Greek goddess of communication. And Shield Maiden, make plans and focus. Okay, so this is very interesting. So there is definitely an energy coming forward that is talking about the military, planning and action, strategies strongly coming forward. With this Shield Maiden, this is definitely indicating that the role that you played had something to do with conflict, battles, military strategy. This could have something to do with taking over other regions or lands. I strongly get that even with the Arnold Schwarzenegger card, because there's a strong physicality that goes into being a quote-unquote warrior. And Arnold Schwarzenegger being a award-winning, title-winning bodybuilder, then turned into being a politician. So that's really interesting because military strategists are often deeply steeped in the politics of their community. And the magus, the magician, absolutely is somebody who understands how to strongly communicate with people to get the things that they want. They understand, I'm hearing, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. You know, there's real strong energy of being able to work with people. And you did get the communication card. And you got the new supportive connections. So you are working with people in this life, strategizing, aligning yourself. I'm hearing treaties. My guides are talking to me about political marriages and having friendships with other neighboring communities. Now, you could have potentially been in a Celtic or Viking community where it was part of a small warring tribe, but this could very easily be in many different places in the world. You could have been part of the Roman Empire. And, you know, like this could be Alexander the Great kind of energy coming forward. Now, what is interesting is that there is a strong energy that's coming forward where you seem to have been torn. You seem to have been on the brink of a spiritual transition of some kind. The Awakened Awareness card is talking about being aware that there is more than to life than what meets the eye. So really being aware that there could be a higher power that is directing things. Some people consider that energy to be God. Other people consider it to be source. There's plenty of different labels and definitions, but it really is the energy of opening your eyes up and believing and knowing that there are things that are going on that are beyond our control, and it's a humbling experience. Now, with that said, it also feels like you were going through some sort of transition where you were really torn between who you were and who you were going to become. The Two of Swords is talking about being at a crossroads and having to make a decision. Being unwilling to a certain degree to really move forward on a different path, like really being at a standstill where you don't know what the right move forward is. The Magician is someone who's a master manifester and also is aware of the spiritual nature of life. Now, it may not have anything to do with religion. It just might be the law of attraction, knowing that there is some rhyme and reason to all of this, and knowing that there are consequences to negative actions. There does seem to be an energy where you were also sort of observing and watching, which could have had something to do with trying to align yourself with the right people, almost like a spy-like energy with this chameleon card, because it does say stay in the background and adapt to the situation. Being conspicuous and attempting to direct the course of events. This could be a situation where you were like second in command, or you were part of a team of advisors to someone who was in a position of power, and you were observing and watching and waiting for the right moment to have your say or to influence someone so that you could have them make choices that were to your benefit. But I do feel like you were sort of torn because you had been sort of playing by one playbook. You had been sort of using all of your skills of manipulation without any fear that this would ever come back to bite you in the butt. You know, like survival of the fittest kind of energy. Like if I lie to someone to get what I want and it works, well, you know, they should have known better. There's no, you know, too bad for them. I'm not going to feel bad about that. But then when you start to bring in a deeper awareness of karma, and there possibly being some track record, some ultimate judge of the deeds that you've done in this life, that can start to be a very scary thing, especially if you're in the military, where you are literally responsible for the deaths of not only other people, but your own people, because you're the one leading them into these situations. When there's always an alternative, there's always the option to learn how to communicate better and learn that we are all connected and we are all one, and we need to learn how to collaborate and work together. That's the energy that I'm getting, that you were really torn in this particular life based on what was taking place between these two sides of your own soul. It seems to me like it was like your higher self started to peek through the veil, started to sort of create magical moments, synchronicities, moments of, you know, real connection with God, or whatever God you followed at this particular time, right? The Roman pantheon of gods, or maybe it was Celtic gods, or maybe it was Nordic Viking gods. Like, depending on what community you were part of, you were connecting with different energies. But you really started to feel like they're with you. This is real, and you need to start making different choices. I'm really feeling, you know, tied, like you weren't sure whether you could make that transition. So let's get a little bit more information about this particular past life. What was affecting pile number one in this particular past life? What else can you tell me about this particular past life and how it was affecting pile number one? What was going on in the past? Do them all together. How is this? There we go. How is this particular past life affecting pile number one in the past? What was going on? Okay, let's see. So this was, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. So the very first card that you got was the Three of Swords, but it's in reverse. So the Three of Swords is a card in the upright. It's talking about deception and betrayal. It can be talking about heartbreak and pain. Somebody really breaking your trust and breaking your heart. You also got the Ten of Coins in reverse. In the upright, this is a card that is talking about having all of your material needs met, but also having a stable home life and really not having a care in the world because everything that you ever wanted in life is yours. And it can also amount to great material wealth, so much wealth that you never have to worry about anything ever again, and possibly even your children generations after you being taken care of, intergenerational wealth. But this is in the reverse. Now, you also got the Eight of Wands, which is talking about a very fast-paced change. It can be into alignment, but the energy I'm getting here is that this was a shift in energy where you ended up in this Five of Coins energy. The Five of Pentacles is talking about a poverty mindset, really being left out in the cold and not feeling like you can find sanctuary. Then you also got the Ace of Swords in reverse as well. And in the upright, this would be talking about there being a new way of communicating, even success. It can be quite a positive card, but it's in the reverse. So there was success and a new opportunity that was taken from you. And you also have the Magician once again here and the Sun. So with Ra, the Egyptian god Ra. So what I'm seeing here is there was a betrayal of some sort that took place. And it was like, I get the energy that this particular card being in the upright is sort of after the aftermath. You were recovering from a deep betrayal and heartbreak. It had something to do with your family and your stability being torn out from underneath you. And this was a shift that took place very, very quickly. You could have potentially have been on the losing end of a battle. You know, you might have been in a situation where either you were literally on the battlefield and you lost, so everyone you knew and loved, all of your brothers, if you will, because I do get the energy that for the majority of you, you were men. You identified as men, you were cisgendered. There is the possibility that for some of you, you were women, but your role would have still been the same. It would have been politically advising about strategies and battles, and you were definitely involved in war of some kind. The energy I'm getting, like I said, it could be that you lost a battle, and then as a result of that, people that you loved were all slaughtered in front of you, or they were taken as slaves, or I definitely get the energy that, yeah, I'm strongly getting the energy that you lost a battle, and that for many of you, the opposing force came in and literally destroyed your family. When I look at this card, it's making me think of arrows coming down, flaming arrows, and that your family was taken from you. They want me to say slaughtered. That your family was taken from you, that you ended up without a home, without hope. You did not get the success that you had been so desperately trying to manifest. And it created, obviously, deep pain and sorrow, great heartache and pain. But at some point through this tragedy, that's where this awakened awareness came in. There was something that happened that helped you to see the sun. Now, this could have been a mystical experience, like a past loved one or friend coming to you in a vision or a dream, because it definitely feels like it was a magical experience. It was something sort of spiritual where you really felt like there is life beyond this. You know, my loved ones are not gone forever. And it helped you to recover in that moment from this heartache, this pain. This sword started to fall from your heart. And you started to see the world in a different way. I'm really being guided to get a final card about this situation. How did this situation in the past end? At the end of your life, how did pile number 1 feel regarding all of this at the end of their life? How did pile number 1 feel? Let's see. At the end of this particular life. Yeah, there was something that happened on a spiritual level for you that helped you to find happiness and joy and reconnection. You got the happy success card, which is beautiful. That is a beautiful energy to conclude a very dark chapter is what I'm gathering. That is what I'm being told, that this was a very dark chapter. And I think that you, at some point, you shook off. This sort of tragedy allowed you to sort of shake off your old ego and your old identity, because all of your political power was taken away. Now, like I was saying, for some of you, it could have very well been a battle. You lost the battle. Now, for others of you, this might have been, I'm hearing a coup, where you were overthrown, or other opposing forces were scheming behind your back to discredit you, and you lost everything. Either you were jailed or you were thrown out of your community, but ultimately you losing your power and success and influence helped you to really find yourself and have this spiritual awakening and the happy success, because you realized that this is just a role that you're playing, and it's not your final curtain call, if you will. You know, this is one chapter in the history of your soul, and it's meant to help you learn lessons. That's the energy I'm getting from these cards. So let's find out how this is affecting you right now in this life, this particular storyline. How is this past life energy still affecting pile number 1? How is this past life still affecting pile number 1? Okay. Let's see. Okay. So the energy that's coming forward to me is that this is a repeating cycle for you. What it looks like is there is a little bit of residual fear and trauma associated with what you witnessed in this past life. Even though you went through an ascension and you did have happy success and you came to a place of peace, that horror and the trauma of what you endured still stayed within your energetic system. And when you are reborn, you don't remember all the details. You know, we can often have trauma from past lives manifesting for us in our current lives. They can come forward as phobias and fears. And that's kind of the energy I'm getting here, that to a certain degree, you're still feeling like you have to play a political game is the energy I'm getting. You've got the idealism card, you got the manipulation card, the achievement card, the extremism card, the organization card, the convention card, the friendship card, and you also got the harmony card. So what I'm gathering from this is that to a certain degree, you have hung on to a little bit more of the beginning half of this past life rather than the end half, where you had the deeper awareness. And that was probably by design. You know, sometimes we have to like relearn lessons over and over and over again from a whole bunch of different perspectives so that we can be certain that we have really learned this lesson and not have to repeat it again in the future, that we're going to make a wise choice that benefits us. What I'm seeing is that for some of you, you might be kind of holding yourself back from really being able to experience like the full extent of joy that you possibly can in this life. You're holding yourself back a little bit from being able to truly express yourself, which is what I'm getting with this convention card. Like the convention card has this beautiful house here, and there's this lovely child sitting inside, well, her face is visible inside this garden, but it's still, she's sort of trapped inside a box. And the idealism card has some mythical people here sort of being lured forward by this nymph. And there's an angel pouring water down onto their heads. What I'm gathering from that is that you're still feeling a little bit like you have to sort of mold yourself into what society wants you to be, or what maybe your friends and family would like you to be. Like you have to sort of look a certain way or be, you know, interested in certain things to be accepted and to be able to succeed. There are certain things that you would really like to do and achieve in your life, but you feel like you have to sort of play the game the way that it's been taught to you to actually achieve those things, because the achievement card is talking about having great success on a public stage, as well as having great success in a material sense. You know, you want to be able to have the, you know, confidence and as well as have all the material means to really be able to have a successful life. And you've been going along with that, but to a certain degree, it's like overwhelming you because there's a lot of people that are manipulating you. They're playing games, and that could just be like frenemy energy. Like I just heard mean girls. So it's like friends that like maybe don't build you up as much as they should be. They're sort of tearing you down because it's almost like they see anyone's success as a threat to them. And that is because this extremism card is really giving me that energy as well, because there's this woman and she's sort of being like manhandled by this guy who has a contract. And the energy I'm getting here is that you're feeling like people are trying to control you or force you into certain things. Like you might be a musician and you have a certain sound that you want your album to sound like, and your managers or the record companies, the execs are saying, no, we need you to have a more poppy sound. Like, that's just one example. But like trying to change you because they're telling you that who you are and what you're presenting isn't good enough, and you have to change this and that and all of these things in order to succeed. And then to a certain degree, you're also being asked to sort of divorce yourself from your intuition, right? Which is what was happening in your past life. You were having these spiritual experiences, understanding that there was a deeper meaning and that you really needed to work towards peace and connection, and having everyone be able to have what they needed to survive and have a seat at the table. And you were forced, or at least you thought you had to play by the rules, and you ended up losing everything by continuing down that road. And it's like, it's sort of repeating right now. And you're being asked to really start listening to your intuition, get organized, and start to reap the harvest that is available to you. Start looking at what you have around you that you can be grateful for, that will help you to start moving towards the things that you would like to achieve on your terms. Start to try and either disconnect from the people that are naysayers or are trying to control you, or at least distance yourself from that energy while you're working on finding your own voice. Because if you can do that, you're going to get a lot more like blessings. There's going to be a lot more magic in your life, because the sheaves of wheat here are definitely talking about a material harvest. But the friendship card here with all of these glorious like morning glories and the crane here is, and it's number 4, it's talking about opportunities, it's talking about good luck, it's talking about abundance and foundations. And then this card here, the harmony card, is number 7, which is talking about alignment, because there's like 7 colors in the rainbow. There are 7 chakras. There are 7 days in the week. It's like having everything in alignment. And all the birds are messengers from spirit. It's like all the ideas, all the different blessings and opportunities that come to you. But you need to start having faith that this can be yours. That you're going to have faith that if you just follow your heart, it will work out. And while you are on that journey, you will start to meet other people that want the same things as you. It's like your community. You're shining star, and you need to find other people that are, in the same constellation as you. Right now, you are kind of on your own. You're trying to shine your light, and other people are trying to extinguish it. But what I want you to know is, based on the numerology here as well, you are at the end of this cycle. Like, this is the last time you're going to have to learn this lesson, because this is number 10, this is number 10, and this is number 10. That's end of a cycle. Number 11, master number, life purpose, full alignment. And then these 2 cards are number 8, which is talking about reincarnation and, bringing forward lessons and tools from past lives. So if you can start to follow your intuition and get to a place in this life of complete awareness and alignment with, your higher self, and have faith and trust, you not only will have great abundance, but you're also going to end this cycle for good. So, the next life, you won't be working on this at all. So let me get one final card for you guys that will give me an idea of like, how will this play out in this life if you fall into alignment and you start listening to your intuition. What will happen for pile number 1? What will happen for pile number 1? Oh my God, I love this. Okay, so you got the elements. The elements of fire, air, earth, and water combine to create powerful protective boundaries, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. That is having everything in balance, right? The 4 elements. Number 4, solid foundations. Fire is a reference to our active energy. Air, a reference to our communication and our thoughts. Earth, everything in the physical, your material abundance. And water, your emotional nature and your connection to your intuition and your higher self. All of that will be protected and completely in balance, and you will have time to shine. Creates the energetic resonance for golden opportunities. You will be a magnet for miracles and positive energy. Whatever it is that you've been trying to achieve will be yours. You will ultimately rise up and you'll be this radiant sun. And when you're a high vibration like that, you are a natural manifester, right? Like the magician, you got the magician twice. You will ultimately, your energy will just be calling in these opportunities. You know, you won't have to work as hard. It will come to you easily. But the hard part will be having faith, really trusting that this is going to work out for you, even if you don't know all the steps forward, right? You're just going to have to take one step at a time and keep an open mind and remain optimistic and see how it plays out step by step by step. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Please make sure you go over and check out Helen's reading so you can find out how this life is going to affect your next life. And if you would like to have a one-on-one reading with me where we could explore even more of your past lives or any other topic of your choosing, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. I do tarot card readings, past life readings, channeling with your spirit guides and ancestors. I do spiritual coaching and I do Reiki. And of course, don't forget about the contest. If you would like to enter for the free mini reading with me, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and comment below. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Take care. Hi, pile number 2, welcome back. So this is a very special reading. This is a collaboration with the very talented Helen of Eye of the Serpent Tarot. I'm going to be looking into how your most significant past life is affecting you in this life, and Helen is going to be looking at how your current life is going to be affecting your next life. So definitely check that out. The link for Helen's reading is below. And I also wanted to mention that I am doing a contest to win a free mini reading with me this month. So if you would like to participate, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and comment on this video. And then on the first of the month, I will be announcing the winner on my community tab. So pile number 2, you picked the coin, the Chinese coin from Hong Kong. So I'll just put that aside. And these particular cards are going to let me know who you were in this significant past life. I'll get an idea of where you were living, what you were doing, what your lessons were. Then I will dive into more cards to figure out how that particular life is affecting you still now. So let's see what you have. You have the Hanged Man stepping through. The Mouse, and it says you are overlooking some important details, so pay close attention to what's going on. You also have Deepak Chopra. Interesting. You have Peace. Ain, the adaptability. Ain is an Irish goddess that is connected to the fairy realm. Oh my God, and you got Shaolin Master. Be graceful in movement and action. Wow, that is so synchronistic because you picked the coin from China. So there is a very good chance that many of you lived a past life in China. You could have very well been a Shaolin master studying Kung Fu. Shaolin monk as well is coming forward. So this is the energy of learning how to balance your spirituality and your physicality. Really being able to harness energy and focus your mind. The ability to really be able to overcome obstacles through focus, right? Not just sheer power, but also harnessing the mind. That's really coming forward. There's also strong energy where you could have potentially lived in India or had some connection with Hindu spirituality or yoga, because Deepak Chopra is a spiritual guide and teacher. He's also sitting in the lotus posture here, yoga posture. So that's where I'm getting that from. Now there's also the energy of Ireland and Celtic traditions coming forward here as well. And the fairy realm. So there is definitely an energy of being able to see our existence here as more than just matter, is what I want to say, more than just the physical. You're still deeply connected with our existence on a spiritual level. So it's very possible that you were part of a religious community or order, and it could have been in a very traditional, like North American or even European way, where you could have been a nun or a monk or a Carmelite just came forward. Carmelites, religious order, they are deeply connected with the energies of saints and strongly believe in gaining messages from the other side. Truly being able to see angels and have channeled messages. This is part of the Roman Catholic tradition. Stepping through is talking about being in connection with that energy, being in tune with the flow, and really understanding that everything comes in divine timing, and really being at peace with what is going on in your life in this moment. And that is definitely coming forward with Deepak Chopra as well as the Shaolin Master. That's definitely coming forward with the Hanged Man. Now, with the Hanged Man, there's also energy that comes forward with Nordic tradition, because traditionally the Hanged Man shows a man in what I consider to be sort of a yoga posture, hanging upside down, looking at things from a different perspective, but he's hanging from the tree of life. And it is connected to the story of Odin, who hung himself so that he could gain the gift of foresight, to be able to see into the future. And he sacrificed himself to himself and hung himself from the tree of life. So there's a couple of different cultures that are coming through, but the through line is definitely a dedication to spirit. And my guides keep saying to me monastic. So this is definitely really being completely devoted, heart, mind, and soul, to spirit or God, whichever gods you believed in that particular life. You know, you could have been a Carmelite, you could have been a Catholic, but you could have easily have been a Buddhist. You could have been part of a traditional pagan community, or you could have been Hindu, but you were looking at trying to seek a different perspective about life, to be able to gain control over the energies around you, really focus your mind and hone your body, to be able to connect with energies of possibly the earth, find a sense of peace. And I'm also getting the energy here of honing spiritual gifts, because in the center of this card is the Merkaba, which is sacred geometry. It is a shape that is connected with us really honing our spiritual gifts and being able to bring those forward, as well as completely find balance and attune our energetic system and our chakras. Now, the other card that's coming forward here that I think talking about possibly some of your struggle is you're overlooking important details. So pay close attention to what's going on. The mouse. Now, the energy that I'm getting here is that you might have been struggling to a certain degree to come to a place of peace, to be able to divorce yourself from the ego enough to be able to be completely in tune with an egoless state. Now, that is definitely a teaching that comes through in traditional Buddhism, and it's difficult, right? Because it's basically saying, I understand that I am part of the energy of everything, that I as an individual I do not matter. It is the collective, and anything that I associate with me as, being one, singular, separate from someone else is false, and that needs to be shed. And Buddhists also believe in the soul in everything, and everything is honored as part of them, right? So it seems like, to a certain degree, you might have been struggling with this. And it is something that is, come back to lifetime upon lifetime upon lifetime. This kind of like deeper understanding is definitely not easy. That's why even the story of Odin, the All-Father, the God of gods, having to sacrifice himself to himself so that he could have deeper wisdom and insight, right? Like, even he didn't have a clear understanding of the unity of all, right? So that's really interesting. And it does feel like, to a certain degree, you might have been in a state of dis-ease and feeling like you were small and wanting to have more power, wanting to be more important. Now, you might have been, to a certain degree, sort of on a quest for an identity or more power. That might have been part of it as well, because this particular figure is rising up out of this lotus, which then again makes me think of Hinduism. But lotus flowers grow in muddy and murky water, and they are often connected to enlightenment. With each lesson, it's like an unfurling of one of the petals of a lotus. And you have to go through a lot of hardships and a lot of dark times to really be able to like shake off all that identity and really be able to be in tune with the flow of the now. And it definitely feels like that's probably what was going on here. So let's get some more cards and get an idea about what was going on for you guys. So, oh, sorry. They want me to use this deck. Okay. All right, so what was going on for pile number 2 in this significant past life? What were they learning? What was going on that was significant? What was going on for pile number 2? Okay. Yep. Okay, so you got the Three of Coins, but in the reverse. Now, the Three of Coins, when it's in the upright, is talking about partnership. It can be talking about apprenticeship, learning through the tutorship of others. Then you receive the World, which is talking about the end of a cycle, ending negative karma, moving into positive karma. Then you got the Two of Wands in reverse, and in the upright, the Two of Wands would be talking about looking towards the future. It would be talking about being at a crossroads and making a decision that is going to quickly take you forward, but you got this in the reverse. So there's definitely a reluctance here to take those steps forward. Then you also got this Strength card, which is talking about having to tame the wild beast within, like the ego, having to tame that and really be able to take control and not allow our shadow or our darker nature to sort of take control. It can also be talking about having effective communication and being able to work with people that are in conflict. And then you've got the Page of Swords, which is a youthful energy. Someone who is learning how to communicate, has a lot of excitement and drive to charge forward, but can sometimes be careless or rash in their decision making and can be hurtful or harmful through their words. So what I'm getting from this is that you were under the guidance of someone else that was a master. It could have been someone who was teaching you in the art of Shaolin, who was a Shaolin master, or some sort of Buddhist master and teacher. It could have been it could have been a yogi. It could have been within the Hindu community. It could have been, like I was saying, in the Celtic community or Norse, or it could have been in any other religious order. But you were working under someone who had a lot of wisdom, and you were having a lot of trouble allowing their teachings to sink in. You were having a lot of trouble sort of, I get the energy of sort of falling in line. I'm not sure entirely whether this was something that you had decided that you wanted to take action on by becoming a monk or being part of this religious community, or whether it was a matter for some of you of being the youngest son. In some communities at certain periods of time, the firstborn would be granted title to all of the wealth of the family. They wouldn't necessarily divvy up the wealth of a particular family. They would pass all of it over to the eldest son, so that they could maintain more power and control. If they divided it, it would weaken their position. So they would transfer everything over to the eldest son, but that meant that all of the other children, specifically the males in the family, would have to find other roles, whether that was to find careers going into law or business. But oftentimes one of the sons, most typically the youngest son, would go into a religious order of some kind, and they would have a monastic life. And it does look like that might have been you. You might have been the youngest son, which could definitely would be supported by this Page of Swords, because pages are often a younger energy. But the energy I get is that you were very adventurous. I do think that if you were part of this community, learning Kung Fu and part of this Shaolin community, that action oriented, the fighting, if you will, the training would have been very appealing to you. And even in yoga, the training of the body would have been very appealing to you. But it was the mind training that you really didn't like, and that you weren't grasping it. And it was because you hadn't gotten to a place yet where you were able to release your ego. You wanted to be somebody special. You wanted to be somebody important. You wanted to be someone that was known, as many people do. All of us do at some point in our lives. And I do think you came from a wealthier family, like I said. So you had come from a place where you did have a name. You did have a title. You were known. You were important. And then that was taken away from you. And you were having a really hard time handling that. You were fighting back, I think, a little bit with the people that were trying to teach you, or the other people that you were working with or living with within that community. The universe wanted you to be able to dance with the energies, be able to really come to a place of peace where you're accepting the fact that maybe you're in the background, maybe you're going to be the mouse. You're going to have to find a place of peace with this and look at things from another perspective, and not look at what titles you have, but how fulfilled you feel inside. What's your relationship with yourself versus what's your relationship with others? And you were being asked to take steps forward, but you were, from what I can see, unable to do that. You did train the body, and I am getting that sense, especially with this particular Two of Wands, but you were reluctant to move forward, and you were still wrestling that inner urge inside you. So let me get some more cards here. I'd like to know with this deck, basically, how did you feel? What was the energy at the end of this particular life? Where were you left off? What was the overriding energy in pile number 2 at the end of this particular life and experience? Let's see. Yeah, you just got dark thoughts. So you really struggled with this energy for the entirety of your life. It seems like you never got to a place of peace where you were able to completely overcome the ego and divorce yourself from what could have been. You know, there's energy here of, I keep hearing birth order, that if you had been the one that was born first, that you would have had the title and the wealth and been married. Like, you didn't get married in this life. You didn't have any wealth or finery to your name. You lived in a community of other men, is the energy I'm getting for many of you. You were men. Now, you could have been nuns. You could have been in a community of women. But there is strong male energy coming through here, and you were really tortured by this. So let me get some cards that will give me an idea about how this particular life is still affecting you now in this current life. How is this wanted to come out? How is this past life affecting pile number 2? How is this past life affecting pile number 2? Okay, let's see. So it looks to me as if there is sort of a similar battle going on within you. I believe that you have an awareness that you have some spiritual gifts and skills. You got the Secrets card. So this is indicating that you potentially have some psychic gifts. You might have been having some mystical experiences, and you are aware that there is some meaning behind this life and that you could potentially have a very strong connection with Source. And you would like to move forward with that, and you would like to also be able to have success in this life. It looks to me like you would like to have a sense of independence. You would like to be able to have order in your life, but there's sort of a struggle going on here to a certain degree, where I feel like some of you might have a real distrust of organized religion. You might consider yourself sort of torn, where you have these spiritual gifts and you want to know about the deeper meaning of our existence, but you also have a real distrust of spiritual communities and don't want to be devoted, if you will. You got the Devotion card, and this card has a sun and moon. So you've got the shadows energy present, as well as the positive, uplifting, abundant energy of the sun. And there are two doves here, and one of them is deceased. And the energy I'm getting from this is that, and this Principle card, you've got a dove here as well with a bishop's hat, and or possibly it could be from a cardinal. And there's also this sun and moon energy here. Yeah, I'm strongly getting the energy that you want to know more about spirit, Source, but you have a distrust of religion. Now, you might have grown up in a religious family in this life. Maybe they were Catholics, because there's a lot of Catholic imagery here. And you are feeling like you keep getting guided back to spirituality, but there's something inside you that feels like it sort of turns your stomach, and you keep trying to maintain control. You keep feeling like you need to sort of run away from this because you're afraid that you're going to be in a situation where there's a lot of extremism and you're forced to sort of adapt and not be your authentic self, that you're going to be criticized for who you are. And right now you're feeling like, will I gain the resources that I need? You got the Resourcefulness card, and there's a crow on this card. Will I gain the resources that I need and want from this experience? Or am I going to end up having to be versatile and bend over backwards, and ultimately it's going to cause me pain? The crow is a symbol of the shadow, but it's also a symbol of magic. And the energy that I am getting from this is that you're being asked to release the pain that is associated, and the distrust that is associated with religious orders and your past life. You're being asked to allow yourself to at least open yourself up to wisdom and guidance by doing your own research, possibly. You don't necessarily have to enter an organized church or, start practicing an organized religion. But what you're being guided towards is to start learning about some of these traditions, because it looks like it's going to help you to open up gifts. And even though you might think that Christianity or any other religion is deeply flawed, which it is, there is a grain of truth to this information, and it's going to allow you to sort of face your deepest fears. Recognize that you are independent. You don't have to be a monk. You don't have to live in this monastic life anymore. No one is going to be able to take away your destiny or control you. You call the shots. You're no longer in that energy, so you can really make your life what you want. Let me see if I can get a couple more cards. Is there any other, yeah, what are they? Yeah, like you were really in a place where you're feeling quite defensive. You might have already felt like Spirit was sort of guiding you towards organized religion. I'm kind of getting the energy of it's like you keep going to pick card readings and people are bringing up Jesus, and that's really turning you off. And you're feeling at a place of indecision because you're feeling like you need to move forward and to gain that knowledge, but it's just triggering you. It's like deeply triggering you. You might not be aware that it's more than just the experiences that you've been having in this life that's setting these alarm bells off for you. It really has a lot to do with this earlier past life. And all your guides want you to do at this particular point in time is to have patience. Have patience with them. Just indulge them a little bit. You know, if a reading comes up in there bringing up Jesus or something like that that's triggering you, just listen to the reading. You don't have to become a Christian. You're not even being guided to do that. But what you are being guided to do is to open yourself up to this knowledge so that it can open up like doorways in your mind. It's like portals where past life information and knowledge will be channeled to you. It's kind of like when you're working on any kind of skill, right? If you've ever started to take up a new hobby, or say you've tried to learn how to play an instrument, there's a point in time where you're first learning and it's like really difficult and you're terrible. And then there'll just be this moment where, you know, all of a sudden something clicks and you just get it and you're improved by like 10% and it was literally overnight. That's what I'm talking about. It's like a doorway is open to you and you're able to gain access to skills that you didn't have before. But the only way to get there is to expose yourself to this knowledge, and you are never going to have to be devoutly religious ever again or have to go into this kind of controlled environment. You are going to be able to stand up and have the publicity or the fame or the title or the, you know, the recognition that you didn't have in this life. This is where you're going to be rewarded for the efforts that you put in before, because it was a sacrifice and it was difficult. But you've designed this life for you to be able to shine and stand up. So you just have to sort of have faith and lean into that a little bit more. And you don't have to like do it all overnight. You know, you can allow yourself time and just ease into this knowledge. But really, it looks to me like that's sort of the only way for you to sort of transition to the next stage. So let's see, what final advice do your guides have for you in terms of what you should do with this information in this life? Okay, I feel like they want me to pick this. Okay. So the first card you got is Abracadabra with Wings. Fantastic good fortune and lucky chances. And abracadabra, it's talking about manifesting through your words. So there are going to be wonderful opportunities that come forward to you. Lucky chances and big breaks that will help you to get into alignment so that you have the success and recognition that you want. But it's a matter of divine timing. There's going to be steps towards that. You also got Awin, 3 rays of light, balancing male and female energies, peace and harmony. And you did get this peace card. It's coming to a place of peace and harmony, balancing out both sides of your nature, the emotional side, the intuitive side, and the side of you that is more divine masculine and is action oriented and wants to achieve and wants to be known. And that is going to be yours. You got the elements card. The elements of fire, air, earth, and water combine to create powerful protective boundaries, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. And there is this medicine wheel here on this card, the 4 elements all in balance, which is also going back to this male and female energy. There is a medicine wheel on this card, and I also noticed a medicine wheel, where was it? Here, on this card as well, the publicity card. So that is all of your energies coming into balance, because the fire energy is about drive and charging forward. Air is about thoughts and communication. Earth is about what we are physically doing and our material wealth and success. And then water is our emotions and our intuition. You're going to have all of that balanced. And then finally, you got Mystic Star, harmony in the home and great friendships. So you're going to have that sense of peace that you were denied in this past life. You're going to have a strong community around you. You're also going to have those lucky chances and good fortune. You will have the success that you want. You will be recognized, but you'll also be in alignment with all of the gifts that you cultivated in your past lives, all that spiritual knowledge. That's why we go through lives where we're monks or nuns and we're in these, religious orders, because then we are really focusing on harnessing and cultivating our psychic abilities by dedication to study. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. This was so fun. Remember to go and watch Helen's reading at Eye of the Serpent Tarot. Her reading is linked below. And if you would like to have a one-on-one reading with me, you can always go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and booking information are available there. I do tarot card readings, channeling and mediumship with your spirit guides and ancestors. I do past life readings. I do Reiki, and I do spiritual coaching. And if you would like to participate in the contest, you can subscribe to the channel and comment below. You could also share and like this video. That would be amazing for the energy exchange. I thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 3, welcome back. So in case you missed the intro, I want to let you know that today is a very special reading. This is a collaboration with Helen at Eye of the Serpent Tarot. If you have never seen one of her readings, you are in for a treat. She is one of my favorite readers. I'm going to be looking into how your most significant past life is affecting you now in this life. And Helen is going to be looking at how this life is going to be affecting your next life. So definitely check her reading out. That is linked below in the description box. And I'm also running a contest this month. You can win a free mini reading with me. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to the channel and comment on this video. And then on the first of the month, I will be announcing the winner on my community tab. So you picked the Roman Emperor medallion, and these particular cards here are going to tell me about your past life, who you were, what your role was, sort of what you were struggling with, and any other vital information I need to know. And then I will pull more cards that will tell me about how this particular life is still affecting you. So let's see what you've got. You have the Page of Swords, solar plexus chakra. You've got Elk. Stand tall and maintain your dignity no matter what, and others will treat you with the respect you deserve. You have True Love. Angela Merkel. She is the Chancellor of Germany, so involved in politics. The Morgan, the goddess of death and magic. And you have High Priestess, harness mystic power. Okay, so based on these cards, the energy that I am seeing is that your most significant past life was definitely connected to being in a high pressured position of power, and it looks to be like you were most likely a woman in that particular life, because we've got so much feminine energy of power. Angela Merkel, a woman who is currently in a position of power. The Morgan is not only a goddess of death and magic, but she is also associated with war. She is associated with the triple moon goddess, the maiden mother crone. So that is a woman in her power at every stage of her life. And then this particular High Priestess card has symbolism from the Egyptian pharaohs and the power of the Egyptian monarchy, but it also has the symbol of Bast, who is a goddess that is deeply connected to feminine energies and motherhood, but also connected to power and strength. It is both sides of a woman's nature. And this particular figure also reminds me of Isis. Once again, the all mother, like in the Egyptian pantheon, she is the divine feminine. She is the first woman. So that is really powerful. There's also some sacred geometry on this particular card that I associate with. It's the Merkaba, and the Merkaba is talking about finding balance and being able to align our chakra system, our entire energetic system. I also associate sacred geometry with Metatron, who is an angel, and there are angel wings here on the back. So, and Metatron is known for helping us to get into alignment with our spiritual gifts and our life purpose. And then the solar plexus chakra is talking about knowing what we want and being able to charge forward towards it. This Elk card has been talking about standing up and having dignity and gaining respect. And the Page of Swords is an energy that is also seeking adventure and speaking truth and standing in your power. This is also an energy of someone who is quite youthful, and I also get that from this True Love card. Yeah, it definitely looks to me like you were a woman in a high-powered position. You had quite a bit of authority. You could have been a monarch within the Egyptian society. You could have been a healer or some sort of mystic within a number of different communities. You could have been someone who was the head of a family, a powerful family, because I just heard the Borgias. So that's like the powerful Italian family. Like for each of you, it will be different. But I definitely get this sense that you were powerful, you were wealthy, you were someone that people looked to with respect, but it also required that you had to sort of maintain a certain facade. You had to hold yourself a certain way. You had goals and aspirations, and you were really driving towards those, but it also has the energy where there was sort of a certain amount of naivete. You were possibly looking at things through maybe a lens that could be verging on even immaturity or inexperience. There's definitely an energy here that's also possibly touching a little bit on a lot of self-love, but almost overindulging in the self-love, where it could even possibly be verging on an element of narcissism that could have possibly really hurt you. Now, I think that would have been natural as a result of the position that you were in, and it looked like you were in a very wealthy family. So you had a lot of finery and people thought that you were quite beautiful as the energy. I think that you were really trying to be won over, because I think that if you were won over, there was a certain title and power that came along with being your spouse. For, much of history, for various cultures, not all, but for various cultures, wealth has passed from the male through the males in the family. So if you had a wealthy family and you married, your husband took over control of all of the property that you had title to. So you were definitely seen as a prize and you were sought after. But I think that it actually ended up making you feel a little lost, is the energy I'm getting. Almost like there was so much power and potential for you, and things sort of started to veer off into a darker energy. There is, for Bast, there is Bast and there is Sekhmet, and they are the two sides of almost the same goddess. The two goddesses almost look identical, whereas one is more wild and ferocious and the other is more loving and nurturing. And the energy I get is that you were faced with a choice in this life. Are you going to wield your power with vengeance, seeking complete authority, or are you going to try and shift the energy? Are you going to take that power and use it to set up a new standard? And what I gather is that you might have sort of got tripped up a little bit throughout this, that you might have still been sort of like leaning into like keeping up with the expectations of society, right? Like to stay on top, you felt like you had to hold a certain standard. You had to like look a certain way. You had to associate with certain people. You almost enjoyed when other people were going through hard times. And what I mean is, if somebody fell out of favor with, say, a monarch, you enjoyed that. There was a lot of scandal, is the energy I'm getting. And that was just part of the community that you were part of. That was part. It's almost like when you like think about a lot of these period television shows where they're, talking about what's going on in like the court for Catherine the Great, or even if you're looking at like movies like Pride and Prejudice, and like every period where there's been wealthy people, there's like a hierarchy, and certain people sort of get like pushed aside, and you just sort of like, most people just follow along with that because that's the way it's always been done. But you were presented with opportunities to sort of go against the grain, and I think that you were being asked to look at yourself on a deeper level. Look at yourself as more than skin deep. Like, if you could start to love yourself for more than just what you offer on a material level or what you look like on the exterior, you will really be able to command power, right? It won't be on a surface level. It won't be superficial, if you will, anymore. So let me get some more cards and find out what was going on here, because that's just I think just the tip of the iceberg. So, and I just want you to know that this is a lesson that every person has to go through. You know, this isn't something that is, you know, although it's not, you know, it's not nice to have to go through that, to like sort of basically be able to shake off the energy of there are those that are privileged and those that aren't. We all have had to learn this lesson at some point in our lives. So what else can you tell me about? How did this unfold? What was taking place in pile number 3's past life? What was taking place in pile number 3's past life? Ooh. Okay. All right, so the first card that you got is the 3 of Coins. So this is talking about you along with a group of people working together to build wealth and mastery. So it definitely is still giving me the energy that you were either part of a community or you were part of a powerful family, and you were learning skills from these individuals. They were guiding you through the art of, I just heard manipulation. And that is really like strongly a part of building power, you know, at least the way it has been built, where it's like you have to sort of like keep tabs on people. There's a lot of gossip and you have to sort of align yourself with the right people. You definitely knew how to do that. But there was a price that was paid, because you have the Page of Coins here, but in reverse. So this is talking about trying to build wealth or a new opportunity for yourself, something in the physical world. Like you've got this idea, you have the Fool here. There is something that you are trying to achieve. Now, this could well be that you were trying to achieve another level of status, right? This could be that you were part of a wealthy family and you were trying to move up the ladder in society, so that you were, instead of being on the second tier, you were first tier. This could be that you were part of a family that was in a position of leadership. You know, you were part of the monarchy and you were trying to align with a marriage that would really help solidify your power in a particular region. Because I'm looking at this Fool card and there's the Little Mermaid here, and there is an element of having to sacrifice to be able to have the status or the life that you want. And you definitely did have to sacrifice to a certain degree, but it doesn't look like it ended up allowing you to have the success or to be able to birth the new beginning in the physical world that you were hoping, because the Page of Coins is in reverse, but you also have the King of Wands in reverse. The King of Wands in the upright would be talking about someone who is really, you know, solidified their power on the public stage. This is someone who, like in today's world, would be an influencer or a celebrity, someone who everyone looks to as one of the beautiful people, an entrepreneur, or someone who is a tastemaker. But it's in the reverse. So there is something that you were trying to create that ultimately did not pan out for you. The energy I get is that it's more like the traditional story of the Little Mermaid. And in the traditional story of the Little Mermaid, this is prior to Disney, the Little Mermaid trades her beautiful voice as well as her tail so that she can have human legs, but she is never able to ever rejoin her family again. She is a mute. She's no longer able to speak or sing, and every step that she takes on her feet feels like she's stepping on knives. And in the end of the story, the prince that she's done all of this sacrificing for still chooses a different girl. So there is that energy coming forward that you've made all these sacrifices, you've followed these rules, you've played the game, you've told the lies that needed to be told, you became friends and possibly lovers with the people that you needed to be friends and lovers with to get ahead, and it backfired. Something didn't work. The energy I'm getting is that you had to flee. Like, you got the Six of Swords here, which is talking about releasing baggage and moving away, but I heard the word flee. So the energy I'm getting is that you might have actually crossed the wrong people. This might have been a political move where you were trying to align with someone and it didn't work out at all. It actually backfired and you actually lost power or status. I want to get a couple more cards and find out a little bit more about what was going on with that. What else can you tell me about this Six of Swords? Yeah, there was some sort of shift in the tide where it looks like you might have been trying to have some sort of political marriage, because the Three of Wands is here, trying to bring your ships in, to have an abundant new start. And this particular card with her climbing up this ladder, right? You were trying to climb the ladder so that you could become the Queen of Coins. And I think that you were listening to or possibly aligned with this Knight of Cups. That would be somebody who is quite youthful and daring, but can be a real romantic, a real Romeo. And I believe that this did not work out in your favor. You got the Wheel of Fortune, which is talking about moving forward, one cycle ending and a new cycle beginning. It can be talking about negative karma though, and this particular card features a spider web, and I just keep hearing sticky situation. So how did this situation unfold? Oh, let's get a different deck. How did pile number 3 feel at the end of their life? How did pile number 3 feel at the end of their life? Ooh, boy. That is too many cards. Okay, let's see what you've got. So there was a transition that took place. Like I said, you did end up having to take steps to flee. You had to possibly political asylum. This might have been a situation where you had to ultimately leave your home. You could have potentially had to leave your homeland and flee, and there was a strong energy of lack, a real consciousness of lack, where you felt like what you had been trying to manifest had actually backfired. But ultimately everything is in divine timing, and we don't always know why something takes place the way it does. It looks to me like actually everything worked out beautifully. when you moved away and you fled, you were able to somehow align with new people. A new teacher came into your life. This new teacher helped you to find gratitude for what you did have in life, to begin to get in tune with your intuition, and you started to follow your heart, and you were able to step into a position of great power because you found happiness. You have the happy success card and the honoring path. So ultimately what it sounds like, and you also got the back and forth card, which is talking about balance. So what it looks like is you've listened to the guidance of leaders that were in their shadow. Dark emperors is what I'm being told. And you went along with these schemes and plans, and it had worked out for you and your family for quite a while, and there was some sort of turning of the tables where in some way, some political maneuvering ended up turning against you, so that you actually lost wealth and power and had to flee as a result of this alignment not coming together. You know, whether it was a failed arranged marriage or some sort of political alignment, you were deceived by this King of Cups. You ended up having to flee. It created a strong sense of loss in you, but you did align through that change with the right people that then helped you to gain skills so that you could be that strong leader, but in the most positive energy. And it looks like you gained back everything that you had lost. So that's wonderful. You ended up ending this life on a real high note. But there is something that is still affecting you from this life, from, your past life in this life. So let's find out, how is this past life currently affecting pile number 3? Okay. Okay, yeah. So it looks like some of the residual energy from those earlier lessons are still lingering within you. It's almost like you're being asked to repeat the same sort of events in this life to see whether the lessons that you learned, the positive shifts, are still sort of ingrained inside you, or whether you're going to have to reinforce learning that lesson. Because you did get the discrimination card, the extremism card, the drama card, and the decision card, along with the endurance card, organization, and inspiration. So what I'm getting here is that you still, in this life, would like to achieve a certain level of success. You would like to have a certain level of power and control in your life. Of course, you're entitled to that. You should want that. There is a reason why you want that. There is likely something really powerful that you're meant to do in this life, or you're meant to create in this life. And you can feel that inside you, and you're trying to move towards it. But there's still sort of part of you that feels like there is a specific way you have to approach your goals to be able to achieve success. The decision card has a chessboard on it. So that's really speaking to me about you really being selective in how you play your moves, really being calculated in how you move forward, because you feel like there is the possibility that people will discriminate against you. That if you do not present yourself just so, if you don't have the right hair, the right makeup, the right, love partner, the right family, the right car, if you don't say the right things and go to the right events and have the right social media, that you will fail. And you are going to great extremes, enduring a lot of suffering in order to maintain this balance. And there's drama around you all the time. There are people that are trying to get you to sort of give into their idea of what you should be or how you should succeed or how you should achieve success. And the energy I get is sort of like frenemy energy, like they're competitors with you. Like they might be your friends, but they're also people that really would feel like sort of angry if you succeeded. And you're being asked to start looking at your talents and gifts from a different perspective. You're being asked to get organized and look around and see what you have around you that could already be harvested and could already benefit you. The organization card has this hand here with all of these wheat shafts that have been harvested. And there's also Mercury or Hermes on this card, and that's a symbol of getting messages from our intuition, from our higher self. If you can start to lean into your intuition like you did in this past life and find gratitude for what you already have around you, you'll be able to transition into a place where you're really manifesting at your peak capacity. I definitely think you're strongly connected to moon energy, which would definitely make sense with the Morgan. You might want to even start like doing magical practices. Like you might like to do candle devotions or journal work or mirror rituals to get things that you want, like looking in the mirror and telling yourself that you're a baddie and you can do anything and you're going to be the next president of the company, or you're going to release your own album, or you're going to win that award, whatever it is. But really tune into what inspires you and move towards that. Because if you keep trying to play by the other people's rules, you're going to keep hitting a brick wall, because you are meant to rise up in your own power. You're not meant to be a sheep. You're not meant to follow these other people. You're meant to be a leader. You're meant to be the one that inspires people. And you're not meant to like follow along with, basically the self-limiting beliefs of others. So let's get a couple final cards from your guides, some guidance on what you can be doing right now to really, make this change and like harness this power. What can pile number 3 do? Okay, so the first card that you got is healing. True healing of the mind, body, and soul. So you might want to start doing some devotional practices. Like I was saying, like you could do some meditation, you could do yoga, but it's like quieting your mind to think about like, what do I want? What do I feel would be best for me? Not what do other people want, or what do they think would be best for me? Not what will impress others, but what will actually fill me up. Because ultimately, you can be gorgeous and fashionable and totally on top of every trend there is, but still be doing it on your terms. Still be doing it so that you're authentic. You also got Philosopher's Stone, powerful manifestation of wishes, goals by harnessing universal energy. Yes! You have to start leaning into some practices so you can start manifesting, whether that is like the examples I just gave of like meditating or doing journaling or mirror work. You're going to have to find something that works for you so that not only are you manifesting, but you can also sort of heal in the process. You might want to start listening to subliminals or sleep affirmation. You got Felis Felicitas, power symbols to create lucky serendipitous events. There are lots of sigils and different power symbols that you can use to magnify positive energy. You could do crystal grids. You could be working with the sacred geometry. Setting up a crystal grid in your home to sort of like channel positive energy to you, or start, putting sigils, like writing them in a journal or creating your own. Or I have a chalkboard where I put a sigil. It just, every time I look at it, it gets me to think of the thing that I'm trying to manifest. Sigils are like hieroglyphs. They're a symbol that symbolizes something that you are trying to bring into your life. Then you also got dragonfly. You bring light to the world. Yes, you do. This is your energy, the honoring path. This is a card talking often about fame, but definitely public recognition. Really being cherished for what you bring to the world. You are a bright, shining light, and it's just a matter of making a couple of little adjustments for you to really start shining. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. This was so fun. Remember to go and check out Helen's reading. The link is below. If you would like to have a one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my booking information is available there. I do tarot card readings, past life readings. I can do channeling, direct channeling with your guides and your ancestors, even the ascended masters. I do spiritual coaching, and of course I also do Reiki. And if you would like to participate in the contest, subscribe to the channel and comment on this video. You could also like and share this video. That would contribute to the energy exchange. I really hope you guys enjoyed this reading, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.